Rajdeep, what's interesting is even in Parliament, while both houses today were adjourned, even, one would think the opposition would be united in their attack on Mr. Adani. Even that's not quite cohesive there.
Yes and no, Preeti. The fact is that the opposition parties, both who are Congress allies as well as the so-called like-minded parties, were there at that meeting which was called by Mallikarjun Kharge, and they've all agreed that they need to raise the issue of what is happening in the stock markets. However, their approaches are different. You've got the Congress which wants to take the aggressive approach and say, let's have a JPC, which is never going to happen. The government has the numbers, they will not agree to a JPC. The rest of the opposition, particularly parties like Trinamool Congress, are suggesting that let's first begin a debate on this issue in Parliament. During the President's motion of thanks, we can raise these issues and try and corner the government. Remember, Preeti, Gautam Adani today, through his company, has interest assets in as many as 22 states across the country. From the Trinamool Congress in Bengal to the left in Kerala, they are building a seaport there, to Congress-ruled Rajasthan and Chhattisgarh. His interests are varied. Therefore, there will be those who will, who are disinclined to target him personally. They are raising the wider issue, if at all. You heard Mamta Banerjee there, raising the wider issue of the government brings in a budget and look what happens to the stock market. She's not naming Adani anywhere. She is very specifically targeting Mr. Modi. So in a way, I think what the opposition wants to do is create a perception that Mr. Adani has been protected and patronized by Mr. Modi, but the target of their ire is not Mr. Adani, the target of their ire is Mr. Modi.
That was my second question, Rajdeep. Do you think the opposition, especially we've seen Rahul Gandhi, very rarely does a press conference go where he doesn't talk about Do Udyogpati and, some other political parties also. Do you think, especially leading up to 2024, with what we are witnessing right now, the opposition could be successful in creating that perception and narrative by attaching with what we are witnessing right now as a political failure of the government?
Preeti, it's tough to say what happens over the next 16 months. There are about, 300 weeks to go before, we are in election mode. So there's, there are 300 days to go before we are in full election mode. But the opposition has certainly got an opportunity to create the perception that the likes of Rahul Gandhi have been pushing for a while, that this is a government which is guilty of what they call crony capitalism. Rahul Gandhi has been consistent. You may disagree, you may agree with him. He's been consistent in targeting this government as an Adani Ambani Sarkar. Few people have bought that argument within the rest of the opposition also. But now, because of what has happened, Rahul Gandhi, the Congress, has got the opportunity to create that perception targeting the government, suggesting that they have turned a blind eye, they believe, to the monopolies that are being built, to the alleged cronyism, and indeed their claim, based on the Hindenburg report, that there could be some corruption and criminality involved. A lot of it is in the realm of speculation at the moment in terms of a hard evidence, but clearly the perception is being built that whatever is happening in the stock market, the government of the day was aware of some of the alleged misdoings and has not done enough. So I think from that point of view, given that it's going to build into now an election cycle, you will hear the likes of Rahul Gandhi speaking out on it. Will the rest of the opposition take the cue and speak as aggressively? I rather doubt it, for the very reason I cited earlier, Preeti. Many of these political parties, state governments, have deep entrenched interests with the growing geographical base of the Adani empire.
And something you outlined earlier, if the Congress is vociferous in its attack, two of its states are literally, well, when it comes down to business, in bed with Adani.
No, you saw, when Ashok Gehlot was asked a question, he stayed away from it. Bhupesh Baghel has said very little about it. Kamal Nath revived a Adani paints plant that was tagged, which for years was caught up in litigation. He revived it and cleared it just before his government fell in March 2020. So the Congress's sort of satraps may well have a very different view to Rahul Gandhi.
How much of a political meal the opposition can make of it, we'll only know in days to come. Thank you.